Be here with you guys today. Sophie Cunningham comes out and says it. We are headed towards a lockout. The way things are shaping up, the way things are headed, a lockout is coming. She is very doubtful that a 2026 season will be happening. And her comments, not surprising. Actually, I have a few questions that I want to share with y'all, a few things that came to mind after listening to what Sophie Cunningham had to say. So let's get right into it. Please like the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section panel. That would mean so much to me. Sophie Cunningham goes off.
Sophie Cunningham sent a jolt through the WNBA with a stark and unsettling warning. The league is racing toward a lockout. Her words carried urgency and conviction, casting real doubt on whether a 2026 season will even happen if the current trajectory continues. This was no casual comment. It was a pointed indictment of the ongoing collective bargaining talks, which she described as fundamentally broken and dangerously misguided. The eerie silence that followed only underscored the growing tension within the players' union. As pressure continues to build, livelihoods hang in the balance, exposing deepening fractures in league leadership and forcing serious questions about the true unity of the players.
Resultantly, the average salary would also increase to more than $530,000, which dwarfs the current $120,000 by a long shot, and grow to more than $770,000 over the life of the agreement. The minimum salary would be up from $67,000 to approximately $250,000 in the first year. No progress has been made. So as things stand, it all comes down to the money and the numbers, with a lot of permutations and combinations going on. Just like the battle on the court, this too is heating up, but behind closed doors, and with so much at stake, every basketball players will be focused on the outcome. But Sophie Cunningham says no.
Her frustration is rooted in a total lack of momentum, an entrenched stalemate in negotiations that are supposed to safeguard the league's future. Sophie painted a bleak picture of paralysis, revealing that while the Players Association delivers weekly updates, there is no real progress behind them. This isn't merely a series of delays, it's a troubling void where compromise and solutions should be taking shape, fueling uncertainty across the league. Instead of offering clarity or confidence, these routine messages only highlight the ongoing impasse, deepening player unease, and raising serious concerns about the union's ability to effectively negotiate agreements that will ultimately decide players' careers and livelihoods.
Committed are these players to actually finding out how good of a deal this currently is laid out by the league, laid out by the owners? She says that she gets an email once a week by the players union, sends out an email, she reads it, no progress has been made. What is in that email? What kind of jargon, what kind of manipulation tactics is in that email that makes these players actually believe that no progress has been made? Now to my previous question, what
makes the situation even more perplexing is the proposal currently on the table, which by many accounts heavily favors the players from an ownership perspective. The latest offer would allocate over 70% of net revenue to player compensation, a substantial leap designed to significantly enhance their financial standing. This isn't a minor adjustment. It represents a major restructuring of the league's pay model, giving players a far greater share of its earnings. On paper, such an offer should signal meaningful progress. Yet Sophie's comments suggest the problem runs much deeper, pointing to systemic issues that go well beyond mere disputes over figures.
In that email, what kind of jargon, what kind of manipulation tactics is in that email that makes these players actually believe that no progress has been made? Now to my previous question, what digging on their own time do they do into the history of the WNBA, into the history of the relationship between the WNBA and the NBA, to understand what kind of deal they actually deserve? Not what they think they deserve, what they actually deserve. All of the propping up that the NBA has been doing over the last nearly 30.
This proposal goes well beyond just boosting salaries. It promises a comprehensive upgrade to player amenities, delivering a level of comfort and support that once seemed unattainable. Within the 70% revenue-sharing framework are substantial enhancements to working conditions, including modern, state-of-the-art facilities, chartered travel, and accommodations at 5-star hotels. These are far from superficial perks. They represent a meaningful step toward fully professionalizing the player experience and addressing long-standing issues with travel and living standards. It's a clear commitment to both player well-being and on-court performance. Yet, despite these sweeping improvements, Sophie insists that no real progress has been made.
To believe in lies thinking it's the truth than to go out and discover that the lie is actually the lie. They might be getting told throughout their whole entire career, their whole entire life, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. You guys deserve more. The league does this, the league does that. They garner this, they garner that. And instead of actually doing their own homework and researching it and finding it out, oh, is this true or is this not true? They just believe it. So when people like myself and Rhodes and Pope and others and CDS and others come and say, hey, and Rudy and say, hey, you guys really don't deserve, well, we're viewed as mean, not just.
The financial implications of this proposal are nothing short of monumental, particularly for individual players. If implemented, the average WNBA salary would soar past $530,000, a dramatic leap from the current average of around $120,000. This isn't a modest increase. It would more than quadruple what most players currently earn, representing a transformative shift in financial security throughout the league. For many athletes, such a boost would provide stability and compensation that truly reflects their dedication and performance. And yet, despite these game-changing prospects, the union remains deadlocked, leaving outside observers both puzzled and
I don't want to know the truth, so I can just keep peddling this nonsense. I do think there's a lot of that as well. Something that I want to share with you, an old clip of Lisa Leslie, might be joking around, might not be joking around, but part of me thinks that this was serious when she says, maybe the NBA players can just give us some of their money. Some part of me makes me feel like this was serious.
She's never, far from our thoughts, but the WNBA is rocking. What could we have more? I mean, I just think, from a salary standpoint, it'd be great for the women to be able to make more money. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. I think I saw something that said
even the league's minimum salary would experience a historic boost under this proposal, underscoring ownership's commitment to enhancing player welfare across the board. The minimum would jump from $67,000 to roughly $144,000 in the first year of the new agreement. This increase is especially meaningful because it impacts a significant portion of the league, offering a far more livable wage and easing financial strain for younger players and those outside the top pay bracket. It represents a structural shift aimed at lifting everyone, not just the marquee stars. Yet despite these transformative changes, negotiations remain at a standstill, with no clear path to resolution.
We could just take a donation around the NBA, maybe. Maybe one night y'all don't go to the casinos.
I have something on this.
See, and now you could think that this is Lisa Leslie is just being funny. But the actions that the players have showcased throughout this whole entire process, it's very similar to what Lisa Leslie's saying. Maybe the owners can just pay us even though we haven't made a dollar. Maybe they can just pay us more money even though we haven't turned a profit. We just have our hands out and we're expecting it. She's talking about all this hard work. She says hard work, but I don't see hard work paying off. I see it paying off for a handful of ladies.